Hey everyone, this is Andrew from the Tim Challenge. Today I'm going to be showing you how I create my watch list. We're going to be going in depth and a general overview of how I do it and how I maximize my trade making potential. Okay, so first of all, I always make sure to journal every single trade. So this is making the watch list the night before a trading day. I make an entry in my journal if I made a trade that day. So I just write down what I did and the plan that I had to do it. And then I write down how well I executed on that plan after. So for August 1st, this was my plan and how I executed it. Swing trade, I got into AI swing trade. Looking back at it today, it was a terrible entry. But at that time, I thought it was a great entry, but that was the top of the range. Essentially, there was a fake out of the range breakout. Now, this is something that I could have anticipated. So now I've learned that in the future, I'm going to anticipate that those range breakouts failing. Okay, so that is what I've learned. And I'll show you a couple other entries that I've had. July 20th. This was a pretty good trade. Overall, I stuck to my plan, and then I decided to stop trading on July 20th until October because of seasonality. And guys, if you want me to make a seasonality video going in more into depth into how I handle that, just let me know and I will deliver on that. Okay, so once I reviewed my journal, I wrote the journal earlier in the day and I reviewed it in the nighttime when I'm making my watch list. Usually this happens about an hour after I finish making my trades, finish writing the journal after the market closed. So, this is probably like 5-6 p.m. But yeah, my journal, I just describe my entries and exits and my thoughts well thought out. If there's a crucial error and I have to make adjustments to my rules and processes, I'm going to do that same night. Sometimes that is the case, so I do have to make sure to do that. And if there's a persistent error in a strategy, I'm going to scale down my size on it and either tighten up some criteria or stop trading it altogether. I err on the side of being more cautious because I tend to be more aggressive. So I have to force myself to err on the side of being more cautious. So this is my dollar risk. If there's something that works or doesn't work, it depends on the strategy. Every single column is a different strategy. So this is a strategy. This is a strategy. This is a strategy. These are strategies. They're all part of same setup. This is strategy, that's strategy. That's just something I'm testing out. These two are actually the same. This is for my halt panics, so these are the same. And then every time I have a win or loss, the stats get compounded for every single strategy and they get put onto the stats page over here. So that's what I do when I'm making my watch list. This is part of it, right? Every single day I'm updating this to see which strategies work and which don't. And this helps me maintain a quantitative bias because there are some qualitative aspects to trading, but for a lot of stuff I want it to be quantitative as much as possible. So yeah, this is where I do it. So these are all my strategies, and it's performance from either a certain starting from a certain year or just overall performance. It just depends on which strategy I'm going over. And then, so the way it works is from this first page, I just weight everything by dollar risk. All right, everything is weighted by dollar risk. You know, this is the foundation of my strategy. Like, this is the constant, essentially. It's not really a constant, but on this page, it is a constant. But after hours, it does get changed using this page. So the spreadsheets are connected. And, you know, like, every single strategy has different weighting depending on real world performance. So some strategies have bigger dollar risk, other strategies have a smaller dollar risk. You know, that's just how it is. For example, my biggest dollar risk strategy is my perfect OTC first red day bounce short. Okay, that's a mouthful. But yeah, that's my most profitable strategy, and that's where I'm willing to risk the most right there. Second is my OTC first red day, and mainly I just short the red green crack and risking a high of day or the recent highs, whichever one is further out. And yeah, it's that same dollar risk. And just to go a little bit more detail on this spreadsheet, like this is where my style would be, this is where my entry is, and then my size adjusts accordingly. So my size is different based on my dollar risk. Now again, if you want me to go in deeper into this spreadsheet, just let me know, leave a comment, and I'll make a video about it. But this is like this is so you have a general overview of how I actually do my watch list, and not just like, oh, here's my stock charts and this is my watch list. No, this is what I actually do. And you know, like some people just do a watch list based on charts. I actually go into depth into my strategy and tweak things depending on how the day went. I think that's very important for me. And here's another thing, how I calculate my dollar risk in my strategy section is I have my win percentage. Where is it? My win percentages overall. Then I have my profit factor or profit ratio on all the different strategies. I use both of those to find the Kelly criterion. So that's the percent Kelly. It's a tool that's used for placing bets, essentially. However, I don't actually use the Kelly criterion as my percentage risk, although that's how it's intended to be used. But I'd rather scale my strategies using the Kelly percentages, and I use it as a weighing mechanism against all my other strategies. So it's just a weighing mechanism. You know, I have a certain base risk that I want to do. If you're using the Kelly percentages, you know, like sometimes you're risking 50% of your account. And in day trading, that is very outside what you're supposed to do. Like trading in general, you're supposed to only risk between 1% and 5% of your account. You know, that's a general guideline, you know, like best practices. That's what you risk. That's what a lot of amazing traders do. They don't really risk more than that. I think like if you have a small account, you could risk 10 on like a really good setup, but it's a stretch. So that's why my Kelly is weighted, because yeah, I'm not going to be risking 90% of my account on OTC first red day bounce shorts, and that's just not really possible, because that would mean I would need let me think that would mean that I would need like 9x leverage or something like that to be able to risk that, because that's just impossible, right? 90% of my account, you know, so like think about like where my stop would be. Like it would have to be like way like super far away. So the only way I could do that is with massive leverage, and with OTCs you usually don't get a lot of leverage. If anything, they restrict you from using your full size. There's a $2.50 rule, so anything under $2.50 you have to have the same size as if the price was $2.50. So that's not possible. So I use the Kelly percentage as a weighing mechanism. So weigh all my strategies against each other. And yes, I call my strategies strats. So sue me. And yeah, depending on whether I have a gainer or loss for the week, I scale up or down. Right. So this is the right thing. So my win percentage will change, and then my profit ratio will change too. So I just scale it up and down as it goes. And there's also a seasonality factor. All right, seasonality on top of that. So my strategies tend to break down sometime between June and July. And so I use smaller size during those periods to be safe, and it saved my ass this year. I happened to scale down in early July, and that's pretty much when my strategy broke down, early July. And then like a week later, I scaled down even more. That saved my ass because the last week I was day trading. I had a small loss of like $400 overall on the week. But if I didn't scale down for seasonality, that loss would have been like $2,000. You know, that's a big difference. So I always make sure to scale down during this time. It's, you know, like right before July or right after July that usually my strategies just break down completely and don't work. So I make sure to do that, and that factors into my dollar risk, right? So here's an example. I know this looks complicated. I'm aware of that, but let's just look here, seasonality, right? So if it's the regular trading year, my seasonality is 1. Boom. Okay, so you see that just as an example, my OTC first red day bounce short has a risk of 2,000. But as we get into June, you know, that gets that becomes 1,400 or so. And then as we get into July, it's 1,000. So it's half the risk that it would risk, you know, in June and May and months like that. And then usually I go back to full size in October, because that's when the strategies do come back for me. And sometimes even before October, strategies come back. But if I'm trading before October, usually I'm still not a full seasonality size. Really what has to happen is the strategy has to prove that it works first. And that indicates that my setups are back, and usually they're not fully back at the start, but they gain steam very strongly once they start. So what tends to happen during the season is my strategies start breaking down a little bit, then a little bit more, then a little bit more, and it's kind of like a fade out. Whereas when the season starts, it's kind of all at once almost. Like it's very sudden compared to how it ends. And if you want me to go into a deeper explanation of seasonality, let me know, leave a comment, and I will do that. Okay, so actual watch list stuff. Now let me get into it. It's not too complicated, but there's a couple things that I do. Like you've probably seen a lot of this before, but this is just gonna be how I do it. Okay, so first of all, I go, and this is at the end of the day. I know that currently it's not the end of the day, so pretend that it is. And yeah, what I do is I just go over First, my OTC percent gainers. These are pretty much all OTC gainers that are over 10%, I think. And so what I'm looking for in this one is I want to see it have an extension of over 40% above a breakout level. And that's going to put it on the radar for OTC first red day setup. And I'm not going to go into every setup into detail. I'm just going to gloss it over and just give you some context to what I do during when I make a watch list. But if you want me to go into any of these setups, just tell me, leave a comment, and I'll work on that for you. Okay, so the first stock of this list, these are listed gainers. I also watched these. Similar, I'm looking for a similar setup as an OTC first red day. Essentially I want an extension over a few days of over 40%. And that's what I'm looking for. Usually listed gainers, the market cap is higher than for OTC gainers. So usually these are mid caps, or stocks of market cap over $100 million. Now let me set this up so I can, because I just want to click through them. All right, so this has the link. Now I've linked these sheets or these charts together so I can just flip through them. Okay, this one's just up a lot. Yeah, like maybe this was a short. This is pretty nuts, pretty crazy squeeze actually. But no play for me. No play for me. Maybe there's some short sellers that would love to trade this or get blown up by this. Whatever floats your boat, it's cool. I don't judge. But yeah, this is irrelevant for me. A crazy chart. Bingo. This isn't. I think this is a reverse split. Yeah. Nectar. I've traded this one before. This one's up a lot. This would go on my watch list. If it has another green day. I'm not interested in this if it only has one. I want to see have another green day. And then the day after that, I'm going to be watching for it to crack red. So after it goes green red, that's where I was short. There's nothing. Sequence. I think this is also a reverse split. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't. This is something. Is this an acquisition? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's an acquisition. Very cool. I don't care about those. Is this another acquisition? Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, merger. I ignore that. Like that has nothing to do with me. Like mergers and acquisitions, I don't trade those. Even if it's up a lot, What is this? What are you? PSTX. Choppy. Yeah, I mean, if this has another green day, I know this day's technically like it's a red candle. It's still a green day. But yeah, I would keep an eye on that. All I literally want to see it. If it does have another green day, I would keep my eye on it. But yeah, this would go on my watch list. SOVO. This looks like a merger and acquisition. Yep, acquisition. See that? Now, yeah, these charts like this that go flat usually are mergers and acquisitions, so I ignore those. Some OTC that got here. Illiquid. This one, illiquid. This one, illiquid. Oh, look at that. This one looks kind of solid, guys. It looks kind of solid, though. Let's see. Okay, now I take out my handy dandy calculator. I do have a physical calculator here if you guys are interested in that. So calculate where the 40% mark is. And in this case, it's 27.37. So I do put this on my watch list, and then I also make set an alert. So I set an alert. Here we go. Set an alert, guys. 37. So when it hits that level, I will know that it has met my criteria for a potential short. Most of the alerts that I said don't get hit, but just in case, the rare occasion they do, and that is my setup. So I'm sure a lot of the alerts won't get hit, but the ones that I do, I'm very thankful that I did set these alerts. Okay, I'm going down further. Merger and acquisition. I don't know, it doesn't say here. Oh yeah, it does, but it says flat trading pattern right here. This one, it's a liquid, so I don't like it, but it might gain liquidity when it actually has a blow off top potentially. Again, it probably won't. It'll probably chop around and fail. But if it does get up to $10.29, I just calculated it, then I am interested. So, just put those numbers in there. Gotta delete those numbers first though. Baba booey. Great. Illiquid. Illiquid. Okay. Now, I think this was a reverse split of some kind. Was it? Or did I just have bad earnings? Yeah, I had bad earnings? Yeah, its earnings sucked. No, I'm not interested. Move along. Easy Go. It's a great name. Not interested. Illiquid. Oh. Who dat? Not interested. Illiquid. Now, this looks like a pump and dump. I bet some people did end up shorting this in this area somewhere. But probably not. This is also really illiquid. Okay, yeah, I'm not interested in that. Problem with the liquid tickers is that you just get trapped and then the spread screws you, and it's just not worth it. Believe me, I've traded plenty of these illiquid dang tickers before, and I've always gotten screwed on them. So do not trade those. I mean, this one, it's got some potential. Okay, so I'm gonna calculate 40% off of 22.7. Okay, we're gonna put alert at 31.78. Yeah, it's probably never gonna hit that, but when they do hit it, I'm so thankful I've set alerts like that. Let's see. I think this one's Chinese or Asian. It's just like a vibe that I get. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. I think it's like the X and the weird ticker. If you see a lot of X's, if you see a lot of X's and J's and all that stuff in the ticker, usually it's a Chinese stock. Extent. Maybe you are good. So liquid. You know, I'm $1.12. Ba ba ba. All right. I'm just gonna put in a alert there. Here we go. JHM. Let's see. Ba ba ba. It's an interesting chart. Looks like a major breakout. I'm gonna check to see where the actual level is. So here it is at 2009. Here we go. Baba Booey. Cool, cool. It's right there. L cut. I see you, L cut. Cutting through all this resistance over here. Yeah, buddy. You know what's good. L cut. This one is very interesting because I could measure 40% from this level, but this resistance is just so abundant. Like it's tested that level like twice, so I usually would rather aim on being too safe. So let me do 40% from 6.5. That's 9.1. So put an alert. 9.1. Baba Booey. Your Beth illiquid. Paterni illiquid. Ferpt. This one looks pretty good, so I'm gonna set an alert. Let's see. Look at the chart. It's gotta be a good chart, you know. Okay, I think I could set it off the top of this wick. So 74.56 times 1.4 is 10438. Boom. All right, we got an alert hit for a PT. Wait a minute. Didn't I just said that? Okay, let me. I think I did something wrong. Where are my alerts? You'll get to see all my alerts here now. Triggered. Hey, can I change you? No, I don't think I can. Okay, I must have ordered it wrong. Or sorry, entered it wrong. 104. You guys can tell me how I messed up there. Boom. Okay. It's proper. Here is some BS right here. Pepsi. It's not Pepsi. It's Pepsi's evil twin, Pepsi. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Okay, here I would just put 10.14 times 1.4. And then just put a freaking one of these bad boys. Just throw it up on there. Boom. AMRX. Ambrix. Yeah, boy. This stuff is good. This one looks pretty solid. I want to see a chart like this. Yeah, it's had this day, right? Very nice. Then it was this day. It's never gone red. Let me zoom in. You know, it hasn't even gone red like pre-market or anything like that. This is very clean. And this is what I'm looking for overall. I've shown a lot of just the first green days in this watch list, right? I've only shown this part. That's what we've seen so far, but this one has two. And depending on I'm gonna calculate the if it's extended enough or not, you know, that's gonna put it on my radar. So I still want this to go a bit higher. I want this to hit 5.05. But yeah, now we got a second green day. Hopefully it just ramps up tonight, and then tomorrow it could be a snap. But I do want it to hit that 5.05 point, and I'm calculating 5.05 based on the extension from the top of this candle, which is a breakout in my book. So that's a 3.61. And look, guys, I understand that some of these prices are moving up and down, and I'm missing some because they are moving and it's not the market close yet. But just pretend it is the market close. You know, work with me here. This one's a liquid. This one, there's too much resistance. I don't really count that. Resistance here, like, it's just gross. The long-term chart looks really smooth though. I'm a little surprised. Liquid. Cocoa. You know I'm in love with the cocoa. I got it for the low. I don't like this though. I don't like that cocoa. Okay. And here we go. Liquid. These are my old friends, Fat BB and OTRPB. You see them all the time. They always come up for me, and I've almost traded them multiple times, so I'm used to seeing these. These are always like volatile, about hella illiquid all the time, but they always stick around. Like they've been around forever. Like, look at that. Yeah, through like past 4 years, 5 years. So is this one. Maybe that started in 2020. Okay, here we go. This one is the acquisition and a merger. Stupid. This one, how's this? I can't even see the chart. Get out of here. If there's like some issue with the chart, like I don't really care. Like I'm not looking at it. PLX. This one, okay, interesting chart, a lot of volatility, but it's not going on my watch list, guys. Come on. This isn't a pattern, at least for me. Maybe it is for you, but it's not for me. All right. Okay, so we've gotten through that. This was my overextension scan. Next, we're gonna go into, and thank God this part is shorter. We're gonna go into my oversold scan. What I'm looking for is multi-day panics. Okay, so I'm looking for panics of over, let me think, of over 40% or so. That's what I'm looking for. Technically, panics of over 38%. So the way I find it is I just multiply the top value. Let's see where it is. So 37.17 times 1 minus 138. Okay, so in this case it's 23.05. So this does meet the criteria. This does meet the criteria over here. But I don't know if I'm able to multi-day. I'm going to show you some of my checklists very soon, just a brief overview so you have a good idea of how I do this. But yeah, I always have checklists so I can review what my rules are and I adjust them when I need to. If there's like a problem, I do my research on that and I update my checklists. You know, a problem needs to get fixed ASAP. You know, it can't linger. Okay, so for this one, what I need to see this is for it to have another red day. So I'm gonna put this on my watch list, but it does need to have another red day before I'm able to trade the bounce on it. And the way I trade that is I look for it to start making higher lows. So I want it to start bouncing, make a higher low. And I usually, most of those I miss, but sometimes it actually sets up very nice that there is risk reward on it, that I'm able to really capitalize on those. But most of those don't really set up, unfortunately. Okay, let's move on. So this one is on my watch list for the multi-day panic. I just want to see it still be red tomorrow. QSI, not to be confused with KSI, who's not a stock, I don't think. But that's okay. That's cool. Like, you don't have to be a stock to be cool, right? Look at that. Okay, I am looking for, what was it? Minus 38. Very cool. Ooh, did some bad math. Okay, so this does meet the criteria over here. This does meet the criteria. So tomorrow I will be watching this to turn green. So this is going to be going on my watch list too. I'm going to be watching this. I want to see it, wherever it closes, right? It could be here. There's going to be a line here, much like how there's a line here in this from yesterday's close. I want to see it break over that line and then break out above that breakout, preferably during the market open, not pre-market, and then I'll be getting into that depending on the risk reward. So a little confusing, but I'm just giving you a little glimpse, a little idea of what I am looking for. Okay, next one is ADTN. Very nice. On this one is interesting because it's kind of had like this panic over multiple days, but I'm not sure if I can classify this as a multi-day panic. Let me think. Yeah, this is a toughie actually. What I'm thinking is, seeing the 1042 level, 1042 times and we get 646. So I still want this CL lower. I still want this CL below 646. So setting an alert when it below. So when it hits my alert, it's gonna potentially go on my watch list after. But I set those alerts for things that haven't met the criteria yet, but are very close. Or and if something is super close, I will put it on my watch list because I can see that's super close. It might hit my criteria pre-market, and sometimes pre-market my alerts don't get set off. So those ones I would put on my watch list that are very close to meeting the extension criteria. And right now we're covering oversold stuff. Yeah, this was a favorite trader of a lot of people recently, but not really pattern for me. Hasn't really set up for me for my stuff. RGTI, super cool. This one, see what you got. I don't know. Something about these wicks that I don't like. Let me see. 3. I think this is pretty far away from being oversold. It's not too far away. I don't like the long-term chart. That's what it is. I don't like the long-term chart. I'm sorry. I don't like the long-term chart. I think the difference was with Q. Was it this one? This was the one I reviewed, right? The difference is that this is a little bit more structured than our GTI. I know it might look the same to you. This looks like more of a penny stock versus QSI. I think what I'm seeing is that this has the structure here, then it just breaks down, and our GTI is kind of like more of a pump. Well, this is more of like a gradual structure. Our GTI is like kind of pumpy chart. It's tough to explain, but for watch list sake, let's include this one. So wherever it starts, is it here or here? Great question. So I'm just gonna put in my numbers. 3, 8. Is that what it was? Yeah. Okay, so if it cracks 202, that's what I want to see, guys. Go. I think this is Chinese. Go Inc. It's a cool name, guys. Cool name. You have some good company. Good stock. Let me just calculate this real quick, guys. Yeah, I do want to see this have another red day and breach. Nine 9.8 actually, so I want it to be under that. Boom. Okay, Fubo not doing so good though. That's okay. Volatility is what we love. Volatile is good. Okay, this is almost there, so let me put a alert under, what was it, 2.41. Yeah, let me do that. Cool. Super cool. Alright, that's there. Meso. We get a lot of these oversold stuff. Oversold things. Oh, that's cool though. Is this a reverse split? Let's see, this is 3. What country are you? There it is, Australia. It's tough because Austria and Australia start the same way, so it can be confusing sometimes. You know. Meso, okay. Meso's messing with me. Because I don't know whether it's a stock split or not. 3, 4. Nah, it's a gabagool. No, it's not a gabagool. It's a sell-off. It's not a split. For this one, I want to see this under this level. I want to see crack that. Not crank that, but crack that. Big difference. Boom. Alright, let's get that under there. Come on, guys, let's get that under there. Okay, keep selling it. Let's see it under 1.1. STLX. I traded this earlier this year. Halt panic setup. Those are very nice. Those are my A+ setups. Okay, I want to see this under 4.06. Okay, yeah. Okay, we got Hyzon Motors. I mean, the name feels like an Asian name. Like an Asian company, you know. But I guess not. Before I trade any of these, I always double check. I read the filings and whatnot to see if it's actually a U.S. company, because sometimes I can say U.S. company, but it's actually a shell that's located in the U.S. and the actual company is located in China or Hong Kong or Singapore, somewhere in Asia usually. So I look out for that. And those, you know, I gotta be careful, because if I get unlucky, I might be dip buying something that won't bounce. That's happened a lot before. I recently, these past 2 years, Chinese companies have acted like that. So HYZN, you know, let me in MISA criteria. So I would be watching this tomorrow. And so this is going on my watch list, HYZN. I want it to break through where it closes, wherever that is. Break through, then make a high above that during the market open, and that constitutes a higher low for me. And that's where I want to enter. Nikola Tesla. If you guys like the sound effects, please leave a like so I could do more of them. Nikola, I do believe that this one does fit the criteria. Yeah, this one I will be watching for its reversal. Like I said before, the higher low. That's what I'm looking for. So this is going on my watch list. And then we got these tickers, which are like up, but they're not. Like, what is this? What is this crap? What is this crap on my scanner? No bounce, eh? That's brutal. Someone got squeezed. That's what I'm thinking. Steamy baseball. No, ST Barbara. Oof, how to get that wrong? Okay, this is some. Not what I trade though. Just interesting to look at. There's a lot of stock market oddities that you can't trade. I used to be tempted to trade those though, because they looked interesting. I think we saw this in the listed gainers. Okay, similar thing with VTGN. Alright. Not interested in that. I think we got a new OTC. Oh yeah, this one. Not interested in that. As far as I'm concerned, there's no trade here. And, you know, if I was trying to trade this, I would have probably taken a big loss. So, avoid for me. Alright, so that is my watch list. And I'm just going to tell you what I do the following day. Because this is just what I do at the nighttime. So the next morning, I go and review my watch list, see if any of the stocks on my watch list have met my threshold criteria that I have set, or if they're doing what I want them to do, whether it's cracking the previous day's close, you know, either red to green or green to red, depending on the strategy. And then I keep an eye on those. And if anything's setting up for an actual trade, you know, usually it doesn't. But if on the rare case that it does set up for an actual trade, I have all my checklists for every single type of trade that I do. So since we're talking about the multi-day panics, I'm going to bring up the multi-day panic checklist, okay? So if there's something that's setting up and it looks like the entry is coming up very soon, I quickly double check the checklist and check off every single box. Okay, I have these printed out, physical form, and I cannot place a trade before I've checked off all the boxes. All the boxes need to be checked off. If one of the boxes isn't checked off, I don't trade it. Okay, it's just not worth it, because usually it loses 95% of the time. So this is very important, so I have all of these checked off, and then I place my trade according to my spreadsheet. So I put in all the criteria into here. So let's say the top of the range was 100 and it panicked down to 62. Okay, my stop would be at like 61.99, right under the low. Then my entry will be at the next lower high. Sorry, the next higher low. I get those confused. Sorry. So the next higher low, that is where I want to enter, wherever that is. Let's say in this case it's 70.01, right over the higher low. And look, there's no edge because that is over the target. The target's calculated by formula, so I can't trade that. But let's say the higher low was 64. Okay, and look at that. I can enter it, and my risk to reward is almost 3, which is, a lot of people will tell you you want a 3 risk to reward ratio. So that is a trade I will take, because it's not the entry of the buy order is not above the target, and it makes sense to enter it. So I take the entry, take that size, this amount of shares, and I'm risking this amount. This spreadsheet just automatically calculates everything for me, so everything's good to go depending on the strategy. And what I got to focus on is make sure all the criteria on the spreadsheet is met. So I have to make sure all these are checked first, and then I can actually take the trade. And I'm going to tell you another setup that I look for. It also counts as being part of my watch list, but also it's a little different than what you're used to. I monitor all the halts that occur during the daytime. Let me pull that up for you so you can see also. I monitor all the halts. So halt, type that in. Ba booey. All right. So we have all these halts that happen today. Okay, every time they come up, I'm gonna look at them and see if they are a halt panic, because I'm looking for those. And if not, I just ignore them. So I'm just gonna go through all these just to show you. So you can see how I do it. Every time there's a halt, I'll look it up. This halt in the morning, some chop. That's not relevant to what I trade. Maybe it is for you, but not for me. Okay, keep looking. Next one's VTGN. Wow, super cool, huh? There is no trade here for me. Although, if this kept panicking for a while, then it would be a trade for me. Just kind of bounces a little too early. But if this did panic more into like 10:40 a.m. Like if it kept going down, then I'd be interested, but it just kind of bounced. So no. Mogby. And again, I'd be looking these up during the daytime as they come up. Not necessarily going through the start of the day, which I'm doing right now. But I just want to show you guys, like every time it comes up on the Halt website, NASDAQTrade.com, trading Halt website, I'll look it up. And I also have this RSS app that every time there is a halt, it just pops up on my screen like a notification, so I'm able to access it quicker because I don't want to just be staring at this halt website. That's what it looks like. I just don't want to be staring at this all day to find the updates. So I have a nifty little thing. Okay, this appears to have panicked a substantial amount, but my issue is that the market cap isn't high enough. It's a little too low for me, unfortunately. Okay, SVFD. Oh boy. Give me someone good. No, the market cap is too low here. Yeah, if the market cap is too low, I just immediately disqualify it. Next one is FC. Cool. Okay, market cap's too low. Boom. Gets disqualified. We got Osaku. Ohaku. Boom. Nah, this is... Okay. Yeah, this is irrelevant. I don't want that. BJDX. What do you got? Nah, that's nothing. ESGL. Nah, see, that's nothing again. UPTDU. And then ESGL. Finally, I think that I looked that up for you. Okay, so I'm just looking through those throughout the day, and then if there's one, that comes up, I go to my checklist. I have a checklist for that. I review the checklist, and then if there's a trade on it, I get my trade ready. And again, most of the time I'm just watching things. We've gone through so many stocks. There's 6 or 7 or 8 stocks on my watch list right now. The chance that I trade any of those tomorrow or the next day is like 2%. Okay, like 5%. It's very low. Most of the stocks on my watch list I don't trade because it just doesn't meet all of my criteria. I'm very selective for a reason, because if I'm not selective, then I'm just going to lose. It has to meet my criteria very precisely, and that's where my edge is. If it was as easy as, just trade any stock that sells off 80% or more, then we'd all be rich. But it's not like that. There are multiple criteria that come together to form a cohesive strategy. And a strategy is something that works over time. It's not just like a one-hit wonder. It works over time. It's repeatable, and that's what we want. So that's why, I have all these tickers I'm watching, but the odds of me actually trading them are so low, unless they set up. And they probably won't. They probably won't set up. And I'm going to make another comment here. Currently, it's the summertime. Right now, it's August 2023. And I just showed you what I do to make a watch list. But I won't be trading any of it because it's summertime. Now, this process applies the same way to wintertime and fall time and October. So if this was October right now, I would actually be watching these and trading these. But because it's summertime, I'm not trading this stuff at all because I'm not day trading, period, during this time. So that's a little nuance I want to share with you. For me and for a lot of traders, it's just not worth it to trade, especially August and September. There's no edge in that. And might as well take that time off and do something else. Because another thing, the weather is nice. unless you're in Australia, and the weather's not very nice, and you're day trading at nighttime, a little odd. But look, I'm not judging. If you're an Aussie, you can do what you gotta do. Chase some dingoes in the, let me think, in the wintertime. Right now, chase them dingoes. That's a bad accent. Forget I ever did that. Oof. Someone's gonna clip that. But yeah, I just don't trade during August to September especially. And but everything I just talked about applies. Just not currently when I'm making the video. But if this was in a different time, it would apply. So just have to make that clear in case you're watching in the summer. And if you want me to go into more detail, leave a comment saying, hey, I want you to go into more detail about this. And I will do that for you. Yeah. And I'm just going to reiterate that in the morning time, I also do watch the morning panics here for oversold stocks again to see if there's any overextensions, because sometimes a stock I'm watching might be overextended 20%. It might not even be on my radar, but then it completely falls apart pre-market and oversells pre-market. It's going to come up here. So I do also watch this in the morning time before the market opens. So that's another thing I do in the morning. But yeah, I just review my watch list in the morning, see what's up, do that, and then I go on to watching the whole panic during market hours. And yeah, that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoy this overview of how I do my watch list, how my trading routine is, details on my trading watch list, etc., etc. I hope it wasn't too long. I know I did go a little over the time that I wanted to. Leave your feedback down below.